Well, hello. My name's Will, and I'm the Pickled Prepper.
I have a question. Have you ever watched a do-it-yourself video and the person that you're watching already has a garage full of tools? Or you're watching a video on how to become a little more self-reliant by, say, like growing your own vegetables, but they already have anywhere from 15 to 20 like raised flower beds that are already planted. Or lastly, how to obtain a surplus of food in your pantry so that you have a little bit of extra food, like just in case. So this way you guys know that you'll always be able to eat. And the person that you're watching already has a complete, like, prepped out pantry. They've got the Mylar bags, 5 gallon bucket. That can sometimes be intimidating when you're watching that video and you literally have a couple packets of ramen, maybe some spaghetti, and some sauce in your pantry, and you're like, how do I get from here to here? And just through the worry of how long it's going to take to actually do it, you never actually do it. Well, I want you guys to come along with me. I am essentially starting from just having the basics. I don't have a whole lot of tools. I don't have a whole lot of knowledge except for what I've watched on YouTube. A couple of my favorites right now are guys like Canadian Prepper, Hacksman is another big one. I have none of that stuff. I've got a few things in my pantry. Like I said, next to no tools. I have planted some stuff before, but that was when I lived on the East Coast. I live in the desert now in Arizona. So it is completely different and presents a whole new sheet of challenges for what it's going to be like. So I figured I would just start recording and try to document so I can show you guys that it is possible to do this in really not a whole lot of time. It starts with a few key things, and I'm going to grab the camera here, take you for a walk around my house, and I'll explain what they are. So one of the most important things for me is organization. This pantry did not look like this a couple weeks ago, nor was there this much in here. The difference is me and my wife, we went through and cleaned the entire thing out. We took everything out and put it out on the counter. And then we were able to see what we had a little bit of, what we didn't, and what we needed. So literally all we did was we went to the store and got a couple extra cans of vegetables every time we went to the store. Then once we had those, we went to Walmart and like just grabbed a couple extra cans of tuna or an extra box of noodles. Those are all things that are going to last a substantial amount of time in your pantry. The noodles probably longer than the vegetables, but the vegetables are still good until 2026. And also, those are cans. So even though it says 2026, in reality, they'll probably be good until at least 2030. I've never actually held on to cans for that long, so as long as my YouTube channel lasts, as long as those cans do, I'll be able to let you know in 7 or 8 years if those cans are still good, and I'll try it out. A couple other things that I got going on is I want to get the yard done. I want to get the yard cleaned. We've got essentially an Arizona backyard. It's just crummy grass and some rocks. I want to get all that stuff dug up. We're going to try to get some turf put down, and then we're going to build some flower beds. I don't think we're really paying anybody like to do any of that. We're going to try to do all of it ourselves. I've priced it out. It's really not that bad. And then we'll be able to grow. I've actually learned over the last couple of days that there are fruits and vegetables that you can grow every season that we have in Arizona. And essentially that's two, where it's kind of hot and really hot. It really doesn't get like much below like the upper 40s here. Occasionally it will drop down into the 30s, but I don't think we've had a frost here in probably 3 or 4 years. So yeah, I'm going to change my clothes and going to hop outside. I'm going to take you guys with me. I'm going to get some stuff done in the yard. And then when we're done, if I have time, it is still kind of hot outside, but I would like to start some tomatoes. I'm going to try to start them inside with just putting them out for a couple hours of the morning sun and see what happens.
All right, so now that the backyard's done, I'm going to run to the store. I'm going to grab a few things so we can get this project underway. And through the miracles of video editing, I will be back in 2 seconds with all of my stuff.
All right, so I'm back from the store, and this is what I came up with. I got a couple smaller pots here, so I'm able to put the individual tomatoes in there and let them germinate. And then, once they start to sprout, once the plant's about 6 inches tall, I'm going to move each individual one out from here and into its own 5-gallon bucket. Also got, because I already have premium gardening soil, worm poop. I'm going to mix that in with, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix that in with these, and then once we go to transplant them out and move them in here, I'm going to mix a little bit in there too. It's going to be a couple weeks before anything goes in here, so I'm going to move outside and we're going to get them germinated. Alright, so first things first, cut open and so now that I got my pots almost completely full, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these worm castings, which is just a fancy way of saying worm poop, and I'm going to put a thin layer on the top, and then I'm going to put the seeds on top of those. Now the easiest way that I've watched somebody else do this is basically we're going to make a little cut and basically just squeeze out the seeds. That actually works. You want to try to space them out, but you can go and kind of move them around after you're done. Give them a cut, and they come right out. Yeah, I'm only going to do 3 because I don't really have a whole lot of space for a bunch of different plants. So I think 3 should be like a pretty good amount. Now you can see in here that they're all kind of clustered up. You want to just kind of go in and separate them a little bit to give them all at least a little bit of space. And then, once you got that done, just grab you a little dirt. And just lightly put a little bit on top. Spread that out. Once they're all covered, you want to pat it down a little bit. All right. Now I'm going to grab some water and I'm going to get this pretty much like soaked all the way through. Still got a few spots where I can still see a little bit of seed. So much for the gloves. All right, that's one done. Now I'm going to do the same thing with this one, but with the larger tomatoes. With those, I'm probably going to cut them in half and then squeeze them out and just kind of see what happens. I normally get, every time I've ever planted tomatoes in the past, I've always like just gotten the seeds. So let's see what happens. All right, so now that they're done, I had to bring them inside. It still gets kind of hot here in like the late afternoon. So probably what I'll do is for the next couple weeks, I'll just put them outside for a couple hours in the morning just to get some morning sun. Yeah, I'm just going to try to rotate them and get them outside for as much of the cooler sunlight as I can. And so probably what I'm going to do from here on out is I'll just post updates in my other videos whenever something happens and comes up with them. And hopefully we'll be able to get a couple tomato plants. So hopefully everything works out with those tomatoes. And like I said, I'll keep adding in updates as to how the tomatoes are doing in future videos. Really, my goal here is I want to try to see if I can do it myself. Thanks for checking the video out, guys. This is something that I've always wanted to do, and if you're familiar with really this way of life, you already know a lot of the greats out there that have their own channels. Um, and I've always been kind of in awe of how somebody's able to just accrue that much to make sure that, no matter what happens, they've always got food, water, fuel. I am going to be having a couple of those videos. There's a couple of things I want to try out. So for like future videos, I'd like to take some of these water purifiers and go to the actual like local water sources and try them out, and then also send them out to go get tested like before and after to see how the things that a lot of people use, how they actually would work in real life and what the quality difference is of pre and post filtration. Um, so there's a lot of things I want to do with my schedule right now. It's kind of difficult to be able to do all of those things in one day. So yeah, hopefully I'm just going to be able to start piecing some stuff together and coming out with more videos more often. And making that happen, I would like to kind of like show you guys the process for what we're doing for the backyard and everything else. I just got to figure out a way to film it. The only thing I'm really using right now is my cell phone, and I've got an external mic like that's on top of it. Come on, man. I have enough problems. But yeah, so like I said, I don't remember where I'm at, and I still have things to say. And there's supposed to be words in here. So like I said, this whole thing is a learning process for me. I don't really have like a lot of building knowledge as far as how to take lumber and turn it into something. I have to read and watch videos as far as learning how to do it. And then once I think I know how to do it, I have to actually try to do it. And it rarely comes out the way that I have it in my head before I start. And video editing, that's a whole nother. So, like, this whole thing is a learning experience for me. And I figured, you know what? I'll put a camera in front of my face, record it, and see how I do. And then the next person that comes along, it's like, man, I really want to do that. I don't know where to get started. Here. Thanks for checking the video out, guys. I appreciate it. And hopefully I'll see you soon.